What's up, guys? We're here back at the Dartmouth Regional. We got Todd here. He got 6th place once again. And this time, guess what? We're not at a food place. Let's go.
Also not playing an Earth deck.
Yeah, no Regulus.
No Regulus.
What's this, Imposter? Imposter?
Yeah, I'm the Imposter.
What'd you play today?
Darkworld.
Crazy. Why'd you choose this deck?
I don't know. I just owned it all. I really wanted to play Darkworld. I like Darkworld. It's fun.
Deck is super sick. Well, any shout outs you want to give today?
Shout out to the channel. Shout out to the side deck for doing the event. Once again, shout out to my daughter, I guess. Good luck tokens. They're still working.
Still working.
They're still giving the good luck. That's it, I guess, yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and well, let's send in.
All right. We played the 2 Graphas. It's kind of standard. I think 3's too much, 1's too little, because sometimes you have to bounce something to hand to kind of keep your gas going. It's probably one of my favorite cards in the game, honestly. Like, it's summoning conditions is really neat. You just bounce a Darkworld to your hand, and you when it's discarded by a card effect, you try to cut in the field and destroy it. And strangely enough, these are the cards that I use Cerule's effect on the most today, because I was actually afraid of just bumping into a mirror match, because people around here kind of like Darkworld too.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing it.
Exactly. So when you Cerule when you Cerule Grapha, you look at a random card in your opponent's hand, and if it's a monster, you summon it to your side of the field. So this in Tactics is kind of like a fail-safe for finding out if you can hand loop game 1 when you don't know what your opponent's playing, because you get to look at a card, and I mean, if you see a Darkworld card, you're not going to do it. And fortunately enough, I didn't bump into any Darkworld today. And this one, when it's discarded by an opponent's Cerule, basically by an opponent's card effect, you get to summon a Darkworld from your deck. So you get to, like, say you need snow and you haven't seen snow, you can like summon snow and then just bounce snow for this, and then you have snow in your hand. So yeah, these cards are crazy. You can like bounce any Darkworld, well, any of the smaller Darkworlds for Rainbow, and then bounce Rainbow for Grapha. So you're constantly getting like your hand size back up. I think there was a point today where my opponent had to roll 2 dice for a danger because I had 11 cards in hand. I've never had that happen before, but it was pretty funny. It's pretty cool. We played, standard 3 snow. When it's discarded by a card effect, you search your deck for any Darkworld card. So it helps you get your engine pieces that you need, and it's just like a normal summon. You can summon it, bounce it for either one of these. That's kind of like the most important part for like the lower level ones. Yeah. 3 Genta. Honestly, this is the best card in the deck. That is not a Genta. That's a Snow. That's a Silva. Surprise. 3 Genta. Genta is honestly the best card in the deck. The fact that you can discard Genta, search for gates, and then banish Genta for gates, discard something. Usually, if you can like discard a Rainbow, you're like pretty golden. Banish this, discard a card, draw a card. You're going to get the effect of the Darkworld, and this is going to summon to the field. And if you have just a floater level 4, you can go into Dugaris, and then Dugaris you can draw 2 and discard another one. This card just facilitates so much, and the fact that it's level 4 is really good, because the rank 4 card pool is like just really good. And yeah, this lets you play without your normal summon. So if, say you like discard, banish, discard Rainbow, you search for Rainbow, this summons, you can bounce this back to your hand for Rainbow or Grapha, because it can only be special summoned once per turn, but you can discard it to search for gates as many times as you want. So you kind of just like always have gates. And this is essentially the only Darkworld card that by itself gives you a discard by card effect, which the deck really needed because you relied so heavily on spell traps or the danger monsters. So now there's a Darkworld that essentially gives you a discard. And here in the background, Olivia's birthday party is popping off.
Olivia's here! Olivia!
We played 2 Silvo.
3 Olivias.
Yeah, 3 Olivia. Olivia's having a good birthday party, everybody. Wish Olivia happy birthday in the comments.
Yeah, wish Olivia happy birthday in the comments, boys.
We played 2 Silvo, 1 of these. Honestly, I sided one of these out a few times today. You only really need 1 to do like the hand loop, and then you bounce it back to your hand with Rainbow and Grapha anyways. And Cerule, when it's discarded by a card effect, it summons your opponent's out of the field, which that in itself just does a lot right now, because if they have it, they can't activate any of the cards. Like if you summon this to their side of the board, yeah, and leave it there, they can't evenly. They can't imperm your XYZs, they can't imperm your links because you just leave it there, and then when you want it back, you bounce it. And Silva, when it's discarded to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, so when this summons to your opponent's side of the field, it's their card activating, so it triggers all the secondary effects of the Darkworlds. This summons, and then your opponent takes 2 cards from their hand and puts them on the bottom of the deck. So once you do this twice, they have like 1 card left in hand, unless they hand trap you. Then if they hand trap you, you just do this twice, and then they have no hand. And then you can summon like the Grapha Fusion, and that basically deals with anything that they draw. Under the dangers, we played 2 Bigfoots. My danger lineup is kind of weird.
I completely agree with the 2 Bigfoots.
A lot of people don't really like my danger lineup.
Screw them. I like them.
I played trade-in, so I played 2 Thunderbird as opposed to 1 because Trap Tricks is just so popular. If you trade in this, you can hit the trap hole cards. I know they have the new one for that makes it so you can't do that, but like I still think this is really good. Bigfoot's really good because it's a level 8. If you discard it, you destroy a face-up card on the field. That's once per turn, but none of all the danger personal effects are once per turn. But to reveal, discard, and special, none of that is once per turn. So Bigfoot's just a 3K body, and as well as like these 2, like Grapha and Rainbow, these are both like 3K plus. So sometimes you don't even have to do anything fancy. You can just try no TK. This is 3K, level 8. This one's also a level 8, which helps you go into your rank 8 pool. It's 2800 attack, which is still big. And when it's sent to the graveyard, when it's discarded, you pop a face down card. This one targets a danger and summons it back from the graveyard, which kind of happens a lot when you end up linking off your dangers for the nightmares. You can just discard this, bring one back, and then climb up. This one summons one from deck, which actually won me like 2 games today just by summoning it. This one is basically Darkworld dealings. Both players draw 1 card and discard a card. And this one searches for any danger. So this is like the best one to use its effect, because if it hits itself, it searches for another danger and gives you another chance. And obviously they're all darks. You can alert darkness them all. And yeah, like I said, these 2 are level 8s. So it really, I personally like trading. I know a lot of Darkworld people don't like trading, but I like trading because it helps just keep the drawing, and it kind of takes some of the RNG out of the deck when relying on just the dangers.
Well, it worked for you, so.
I think that's 11 dangers. And I play the one Zephyros.
Mandatory.
Zephyros is mandatory, and it's kind of another reason why I played 2 of this, because these are both wing beasts. These are both wing beasts. So if you're just stuck on this plus Zephyros, it kind of gives you like 2 other monsters in the deck. You can go into a Koshik with the Zephyros if you have to. Yeah, Zephyros bounces a card. Sorry, you bounce any card that's faced on your side of the field to the hand, and then you special summon it and take 600. So like, say you need another discard, you can like bounce any of the dangers to hand, summon this, and then the danger effect you can use in hand to discard again, or if you need like one of your Darkworlds in hand, you can bounce it. I use this today. I side deck skill drain, so I use this today to bounce a skill drain to turn it off. I made a board, did some damage, broke his board, and then I just reset the skill drain so it was live again. So
dirty.
You also just summon gates a lot off of this too.
Yeah, 4th gates,
bounce
boys.
gates, sorry. Speaking of gates of the Darkworld, you banish a fiend from your graveyard, and then you discard a fiend, and then you draw 1 card. This also gives all fiends 300 attack, so it really helps with the OTKs. The 300 really adds up when all your guys are like 3K plus. I played 1 of the fusion spell. You just pull it out of deck with snow whenever you need it. It's recurable, so I didn't want to play 2 and brick on it. I played this. I really like this card. It kind of helps get you out of some certain situations where you're
It's like a
stuck.
Monster Reborn.
It's like a Monster Reborn, yeah, but it also discards. So it's kind of like, it also does work with this because you target a fiend and summon it and bring it back, and then you discard a fiend. But like, sometimes when you need to get the last card out of their hand, you can just play this, bring back Ceruli. They actually discard the card if this is summoned to your side of the field. And then it's also just another discard outlet. And it also, I use this a lot. I search this off of Snow. I use this to bring back Snow. I'll discard, say like, I don't know, Rainbow, get the search off Rainbow, and then bounce the Snow to summon the Rainbow back out. This card is good.
Pretty mandatory.
It's pretty much like the worst top deck in the deck. But yeah, this card also, like I said, if you're playing like anything that has a towers, you'll like make a Grapha or a Rainbow, discard another copy to give all your Darkworlds 100 attack times the level. So like, say you have a Grapha with gates up, Grapha's already 3K, and if you just got another level 8, that Grapha's now 38. There was a point today where I had the Grapha Fusion out, I used this effect to discard a rainbow to get the search. So the fusion gained 800 attack, so it was 4,000, and I actually had to use the Garrus to double its attack. So it was an AK Grapha, so I could beat over their field and swing for game. This card's good, but like it's kind of bricky if you draw it at the wrong time. But more times than not, you just pull it out of the deck.
Fair enough. What's up, Kane?
I
Yeah.
played 3 Allure of Darkness. You're playing all dark monsters. It's pretty standard. Sometimes you can trigger Gent off this if you already have a card face up. That's kind of another reason why this is good. It just sits on board. So every time you banish a Gente with that on field, you just get to summon out the Gente. I played only 2 trade-ins because I didn't main deck the Lava Golems, but I did play a higher 8 count than normal. This card's really good. It really helps you break boards. You just like trade in, discard Bigfoot, draw 2, and then pop something with Bigfoot or pop something with Thunderbird. I played the one upstart.
In 40 cards.
In 40 cards, yes.
39 cards.
I was playing 3 trade-in. I just took out a trade-in and threw it on upstart last minute because there was times where I was bricking on too many of these. Yeah, you just play it, draw 1. It kind of digs you a little deeper. It helps, I guess. Anything that draws is good. We played 1 tactics and 1 talents.
Makes sense.
Other way around. Well, 1 thrust, 1 talents. You can activate both of these turn 0 if you give them a Ceruli, because technically it's their card that's activating.
Just huge.
Which is huge, yes, because you hand loop them, so you'll get rid of, say, 2 cards. Their hand goes down to 3, and if you do it again, they go down to 1. And you can actually use thrust to search for card destruction, so it's like playing 2 copies of this. So you can like give them Ceruli, trigger the effect, or if they hand trap you, whatever. But I shouldn't say it's whatever, because they have to have the Ceruli. Because if they have the Ceruli, you can add any of these cards to your hand. So like, this card is really just like any copy of these, like whatever you need. Yeah. I only played 1, so I didn't want to brick on it. That's the same with this. I didn't want to draw 2 and then not be able to activate it, because this card or this deck kind of suffers when you have like too many copies of certain cards and not enough monsters to like use them with. So tactics is pretty crazy because, like I said, you give them Ceruli, you can activate this turn 0, and you can say they have 1 card left in hand, you can't get rid of it, you can just use the tactics to look at their hand and take it. You can use the tactics as like just a free pot of greed. You can just draw 2, or sometimes there's points where like you have to get the Ceruli back, but you don't have a way to, so you just use this, take the Ceruli, and then you bounce the Ceruli for your Rainbow, or you bounce the Ceruli for your Graphic.
Completely forgot you could do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had to do that once today. It's how I hand loop somebody's hand. Onto the extra deck, we play Appaloosa because you just have this deck sometimes just has a lot of floating bodies, and some of them aren't very good. Like sometimes you have a Genta that's doing nothing, a Snow that's doing nothing. The Dangers sometimes aren't doing anything. They're big bodies, but like they're not really doing much besides that. So you just go into this so you don't get like Nibiru'd. You can stop hand traps. Yeah, honestly, it's just really good. It also pairs really well with this sometimes, but I'll explain that in a second. Sure, you just go into this when you have like, again, a bunch of bodies. You need to keep digging through your deck. This draws 4, you put 3 on the bottom. So usually you put the cards that are really searchable back into your deck. Like there's points where you have like 3 rainbows in hand because you're constantly bouncing and summoning and bouncing and summoning. So you can summon this. If you have a multiple discard outlets, you can just put back like a Silva and like a Grapha, and then you can pull them back out of your deck and search them again. I played the Muckracker. This card's really good. It just targets a fiend, summons it, and then the discard off this is actually not a cost, so it triggers all the Darkworlds. I played the Security Dragon just to bounce, usually the Ceruli back to hand. It also gets rid of problem cards. It's really good. I played the Nightmare Cerberus. Just again, it's another reason why I like to play the Darkworld spell charge, because sometimes you can go into Cerberus, you can target the Ceruli, destroy it, and then you can just play this to bring it back, which makes them discard a card, and then you can just bounce it back to your hand, and then you can discard it again later in the turn and make them have to discard another card. And Phoenix, just same thing, you know, discard a card, pop, spell, and trap. It's really good. But these 3 cards here in particular kind of have a niche interaction that apparently not a lot of people know about, where you give them Ceruli, you put it in above the extra monster zone, and then you summon this. This bounces everything that it points to, but it also has a second effect where if it's co-linked, anything that's co-linked to this, you can declare any card name in the game. You excavate the top cards equal to the co-link the total length of co-links. So like this is a 2 and this is a 2, so you'll do 4. Any copies of the card you call, you add to your hand. The rest of the cards go to the graveyard. So there was points where I didn't have like Rainbow or Grapha, so I would activate this and call, say, I don't know, Danger Bigfooter. Like if you need a discard, you need to dig through your deck, you can call like Allure of Darkness. So you'll excavate the top 4 cards of your deck. Any copies of the card you called, you add to your hand, and the rest go to the graveyard. So if you just hit like Rainbows and Graphas, they just get tossed in the graveyard, and then you can just start bouncing and doing all your plays. But this is usually the first thing you summon. So you can like summon this, bounce your Ceruli, say summon Phoenix, discard a Danger, like just discard whatever, target a spell or trap, pop it. You'll get the draw because it's co-linked. And then if you discard a Danger, it'll trigger the effect because these do trigger the Dangers. And then you can just say use this, call, like I said, whatever. If you need like, if you don't have any of your Rainbows, don't have Snows, call Snow, excavate top 4, you get all the Snows in that pile to your hand. The rest just go to the grave. So it was really cool. Apparently a lot of people didn't know that was a thing with that card, and it helped.
Sick, yeah.
We played 2 Grapha Fusion.
Mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory, just in case. You have to play 2 in case you play against Cash and they hit one. The Cash tier matchup already sucks, so why make it harder on yourself by playing 1? This basically says if your opponent activates a card effect, you turn the text on that card into your opponent discards 1 card. So it's a negate, but it also triggers your Darkworlds. And then if it's destroyed, or if it leaves the field due to your opponent's card, you summon a Grapha from your graveyard or banish, regular Grapha, and then both players discard 1 card. So sometimes people just have 1 card in hand and they can't out that, and that's what makes it hard. We played the 1 Zeus. Honestly, I only played this so Cash would go after it, not something else.
Makes sense.
Only made it once today, and I didn't even really have to. I played the Titanic because sometimes you rip their hand, and then you just want to spell negate in case they top something. Same with the Felgrands. If you have too many 8s and you need to put like a Grapha back in grave, you can overlay 2 8s, go into this. This immediately allows you to detach and send the Grapha or the Rainbow to the graveyard. It's also a monster negate. There's a really cool thing that I do a lot with this card when you play against Branded, where if they have the Cartesia on board, or they just have like 1 monster and they end up like the Branded and Red thing, when they activate the Branded and Red, you chain this, target the monster that they have on board if they only have 1, and then they can't use that monster to fuse, so they can't Chimera you. So then they have to fuse from their hand if they want to. The Coach Trainer.
Mandatory.
Yeah, you detach up to 3 times per turn. You detach, you draw a card, burn your opponent. This is kind of how you win in time. And then I played this because it's a Fiend, and sometimes you just have no place, so you go into this and hope it works. And we played the 1 Dugaris. Dugaris is like just the best card probably in the extra deck for this deck. Yeah. We'll move on to the side deck really quick. I played the 2 Kaijus. Just, you know, if you play against a Rise Heart, you can tribute the Rise Heart. I also played the Lava Golems just for like any deck that swarms. This just helps break a board. And just like Ceruli, you can give them either one of these, bounce it, give it to them again. You can bounce it, give it to them again. So if they have a big board, you can just crack it with these cards. They're also Fiends, so if you're locked under Muckcracker, these allow you can still use them. I played 2 Denkos just in case of back row decks. I didn't really play any today. I played against a Math Mech, but like this, I'm not gonna side this in just for the one trap. Yeah, I played 3 Ash on the side, pretty much just for Branded Fusion.
They're all afraid of me, bro. They're all afraid of me.
Branded Fusion, just that card does a lot. The card gets better with every set that passes, so why would I let you resolve it? We played the Duster just as back row removal. I'm not really too afraid of back row decks because Grapha pops, you have extra deck monsters that pop, your cards are all floaters anyway, so I just kind of use this. Also, I guess this is more back row removal, evenly matched.
Yeah,
not much to say about this deck. Yeah, it's mandatory right now. It's crazy. It's really good. And then I played the 2 Skill Drains.
But Todd, why only 2?
Why only 2? Sorry, if you see this for Robbie Cole, I'm sorry that I only ever played 2 Skill Drains. In this deck, though, you just draw.
Yeah,
like,
you just draw so many cards.
There's times where I literally just throw in one of this and I just hope I draw it because you're just drawing so many cards. When I played against the Math Mech guy, I literally drew my entire deck. I had no cards left in deck, so like...
Well, it obviously worked out for you, so...
Yeah, like I said, all your cards are big, your Graphers are big. You can literally flip Skill Drain, just loop Rainbow and Grapha and win because your cards are bigger than those.
Well, thank you for the deck profile and congratulations
You're
on top 8ing once again at another regionals. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Thanks.
You're welcome.